Hey, Michael Middleton here. This is the first video I've done in quite a while, resuming some excerpts from my books. Decided the first one that I would do, I'll apologize in advance in case I've been interrupted by a cat. There's a high probability, is a section called The Price of Admission from this book of mine, Learning Grace. So I'm just going to kind of read this section to you. This may be part one of two, depending on how long the first little part of it takes to upload. So I'm going to read it to you and see what you think. Okay, The Price of Admission. In his book, The Road Not Taken, published in Mountain Interval, 1916, Robert Frost describes coming to a place where two roads diverged in a wooded meadow. There he stood for an extended period contemplating which path to take. After a protracted consideration, he concluded with, "I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." Each of us, whether or not we view it as clearly as Robert Frost through the poetic eye, find ourselves at the same divergence of roads. If we accept the premise that it is indeed the narrow, difficult way which leads to life, the one less traveled by, then it is clear what our choice should be. And yet taking those first feeble steps into the glorious divergence eludes the vast majority of mankind. If the road to life is what truly God desires for everyone, why is it so difficult to begin one's journey upon? Would it surprise you to find out that there's a toll gate at the head of that road? That other road, the broad, easy one, doesn't seem to have one, not as far ahead as you can see anyway. True, it is rumored that there is some sort of price to be paid at the end of the broad, easy way, but you figure that's something to be worried about later, when it's too late. But here and now, right up front, there's a toll gate at the very head of the narrow way. You step forward to examine the price of admission. Perfect moral behavior in thought, word, and deed. A selfless life given fully and sacrificially to others. Total, complete, unwavering obedience to the law of love. The list continues on, but now it's clear that no further details really matter. This is already well out of your price range. There's no way you could scrape together even a small part of that. A mixture of sorrow, anger, and confusion washes over you as you stand there, thinking God unjust. You try to find a way to pick the lock or force the gate open, but it's no use. It just does not budge. As you pace away, muttering indignantly, you see another traveler approach the gate. You recognize the man at once. It's that bully from 4th grade who beat you up and stole your lunch money at least twice a week. From there, he regressed on to stealing bicycles, and from there to grand theft auto. He served time for drunk driving and for killing a man in a bar fight. He's now known as a middle-level drug dealer and runs a small prostitution ring. An acidic, mocking chuckle rises up within you as you mutter, "Yeah, good luck with that, pal." An odd sort of look seems to be growing on the man's face, however, and as you stand there amazed, he drops his head slightly and the gate swings wide open before him. He enters joyfully and the gate swings securely shut once more. Turning to face you fully now, he recognizes you. A weird sort of light covers him and a childlike peace shines out from his eyes. There is a brief flash of regret as he recalls how he had treated you earlier in life. This quickly fades into a knowing plea of expectancy as he meets your burning gaze. "Friend, read on, there's more to know." He motions to the sign on the gate and bids you to investigate further. Though still clutching a prideful resentment tight to your chest, you decide to take another look. There at the bottom of the list of requirements for entry, you read, "Paid in full by the builder." Then you note a long string of Bible verses. Several others among these particularly draw your eye. Isaiah 53:5, But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. John 3:16 and 17. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. 2 Corinthians 5:21. For he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. A sliver of understanding is just beginning to dawn within you, and you read on. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, and saves such as have a contrite spirit. Psalm 51:17. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. These, O God, you will not despise. Proverbs 28, verse 13. He who covers his sin will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will have mercy. So there it is. It seems as though, as far as your part is concerned, the price of admission is simply the admission of your need. And this, my friend, is where so many stumble. They refuse to enter by this narrow gate. They do not want to admit their need. The sin nature is born of selfish pride. It both feeds upon and nourishes that pride. Its chief aim is to enthrone self and to exalt one's self-effort. To openly acknowledge need, that you are not complete in yourself, is quite opposite to this. Far too many walk away from the very gate into eternal life simply because they don't want to cope with the fact that they could not earn it. As we have already discussed thoroughly, sin is centered in self. There is no self-effort which can rescue us from self. If eternal life is to be received, it must be received as a gift. There are at least 3 easily identifiable reasons why this logically has to be the case. Number 1, consider the value of what is being offered. Eternal life and a perfect body with all of the pleasures and joys of creation to explore, with no need or desire ever unmet, forever. Question: if it were possible to pay for your way into this paradise, what could you ever offer to equal this value? There is no sum imaginable that would not be a joke or an insult. It would be exceedingly more feasible to offer a rusty bottle cap in exchange for the Hope Diamond. Number 2, everything that you have, everything that you could offer, you only have because it was first given to you by God. It's already rightfully His. And number 3, God's design for eternal life is to enable you to reestablish the life-giving relationship with Him. He is the very source. God is light and life. The self-nature is darkness and isolation. Self-effort is rooted in pride and by its very nature leads to separation and death, not life and joy. To sum this up, a free gift cannot be bought. The price has already been paid by the one offering. Now let us see if we can further illustrate the point by painting a more contemporary picture. And that will continue with part 2 of this section when I get a chance to get to it. Again, that's an excerpt from Learning Grace, available at amazon.com/author/MMM. All proceeds benefit Youth with a Mission Faith Harvest Helpers.